is Brian Leslie, Sergeant at the Waitakere Police Station.
Okay, and for what purpose do you need my identification for? Excuse me, sir. Sergeant? What purpose do you need my identification for?
I've already asked you for your identification.
For what purpose, sir? Do you suspect me of committing a crime? Sir, do you suspect me of committing a crime? Excuse me, sir, do you suspect me...
Are you on a public road? You just told me out.
This is a public road.
Right.
I have
and
free
you're a
access
road user
to...
in a vehicle.
I'm a man.
So I have the right to see your driver's licence, and I'm not going to
Under
ask
what
you
authority, sir?
again. I'm not going to ask you again.
Or what do you mean you're not going to ask me again? What does that mean? Yeah, of course you can.
Cool. You actually raised some interesting points, and I just wanted to sort of pass on to you what I've done.
Sorry, Matt. I'll just put this window up so I can hear you. The traffic noise is getting a bit much.
No worries.
Sorry, yep, go for it.
Yep, I've had a discussion with Sergeant Leslie, and we've discussed obviously the complaint you've made and the ins and outs of private place and expectations of privacy that you've raised. I agree that from where you were on that day, there really isn't an expectation of privacy probably through a fence like that.
Yeah.
And saying that we, and I'm not sure, whether you want to take this into account, but we do have every now and then some pretty heavy people carry out sort of surveillance on us, and I'm not including you in this at all, but I mean people like gang members who've been known to record staff coming and going from the station. So I don't have an issue with Sergeant Leslie talking to you about it. So what I'm kind of saying is I don't believe you've breached the law at all. I think he realised that, and I also don't have an issue with him speaking to you about it.
But see,
what I've done, or what I'm going to do, is put in place a little bit of education for the staff at Henderson Station around this subject.
Cool.
There'll be a general email going out just saying, look, this isn't a breach of the law if anyone does it.
Sure.
But again, I don't have any issues with...
I mean, I can understand if I was recording at night time into a private dwelling house, as the law specifies, then by all means. But, at 10:30 in the morning, that was just an excuse to get my details. And then he decides to jump onto the Land Transport Act because I was sitting in a car to get my details that way. I hadn't caused any harm to anyone. And that was just intimidation tactics, and I came in 6 days later and supplied him a laminated copy of that section of the Act so he can see exactly what I'm talking about. Gone online, looked it up, printed out a few different sections of the Summary Offences Act, and I'll stick this on the clip there for you, along with the statement for the police card that he wouldn't accept from me at the time, and some contact details there for me as well if he needs it. So yeah, seeing he's failed to back up his bullshit, I thought I'd show him what his bullshit actually is and correct his errors, or at least ask for him to perhaps follow the line instead of overstep it. Last week I was parked across the road and had a little altercation with Sergeant Brian Leslie. He had issues with me filming in public, the driveway. Anyway, he said it was akin, or almost akin, to peeping and peering, so I came back in here straight away and asked him to please supply me the legislative rule or the act that he was using to enforce to say that it's not okay. I left my number and details. I've got no reply in 6 days from him. So what I've done is I've gone on to legislation, found up the Summary Offences Act and pointing out the peeping and peering he's talking about there. Okay, it has to do with night time, not 10:30 in the morning. And it has to do with private dwelling houses, which the New Zealand Police Station isn't. So I'd like you to make sure that that goes through to his pigeonhole or whatever it is, so he can be re-educated on that, and make sure everybody else is aware it's perfectly okay to record in public.
What I'm going to do is put in place a little bit of education for the staff at Henderson Station around around this subject.
Cool.
There'll be a general email go out just saying, look, this isn't a breach of the law if anyone does it.
Sure.
But again, I don't have any issues with.
I mean, I can understand if I was recording at night time into a private dwelling house as the law specifies, then by all means. But, you know, at 10:30 in the morning, that was just an excuse to get my details. And then he decides to jump onto the Land Transport Act because I was sitting in a car to get my details that way. I hadn't caused any harm to anyone. And that was just intimidation tactics, and I came in 6 days later and supplied him a laminated copy of that section of the Act so he can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's what I'll be raising with the staff, that's not, in that circumstance, as you've rightly pointed out, that's not
a breach of anything.
Yeah, it's not.
There's no offence.
But as I say, I would encourage, and I do encourage my staff to be curious and also to...
Oh, absolutely.
You know, just to make sure that you're not, you know...
But, I mean,
the person doing that is not doing it for nefarious purposes.
Absolutely. And
I don't believe you were. So.
No, I mean, that's why I brought up to him to go and arrest Google. I mean, I'm doing nothing that Google hasn't done, and, you know, he was just being heavy-handed to find out my details, and he could have come up and just said, "G'day, mate, how are you, what you doing," and not needed my details, but the fact that he tried to be forceful about it, no way. I mean, you guys are there to serve and protect, not to boss me around. I mean, it doesn't work that way, and I've spent 4 years learning all of the legislature and crap, and, you know, knowledge is a little bit easier. I suppose, but
Okay.
cool.
So anyway, I thought I'd give you a ring and let you know.
So I appreciate. Sorry, what was it? Matt, was it?
Matt Lawrence, and I'll send you a letter as well. Though.
Oh, cool.
My name on it, stuff, so
Thanks, Matt.
If you want to get hold of me, then just go for it.
No, I mean, I appreciate you getting back to me and just accepting that, and you know, it's all just a bit of knowledge, you know. And I've recorded police hundreds of times in the last few years, and I've never had an issue, and always respectful. I stay away, you know, I don't obstruct in any way, and yeah, I just didn't think his actions, or the constable for hiding behind him either, you know, that I didn't get what her point was, why she was worried about me recording. But again, I suppose it's something new that you guys aren't quite used to yet.
Who am I?
Yeah, why is this man not answering my questions? I'm fine. Why are you hiding?
Why are you filming?
Because
You're
I have
a
a right
user,
to.
sir.
Yeah, well, the only other thing I was just going to raise with you was I called your home phone number first, and I spoke to a female there, so
Oh, Leah.
I said I'd bring back in about an hour, but
Yeah, that's fine.
if she tells you pass that message on, you can say no, I've already talked to you.
No, that's no problem. My wife's just broken her hand, so she's sitting there at home doing nothing. So.
It's a bit frail, so
Yeah.
I didn't disturb her, you know.
She broke her hand, but she still toughed it out to do Rainbow's End on Saturday for the kids' holiday, so she's just suffering the misery of it afterwards. So. Yeah, she did, mate. Her hand was broken in 2 places. She knocked it on one of the rides. So yeah, she's a tough one, mate. But that,
Alright.
cool, Matt.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. And that's what happens. That's excellent. That's an awesome response. That's the way you would expect a police person when you make a complaint to respond. That's Matt Lawrence from Henderson Police, a supervisor. Bang on. My complaint was heard. It's dealt with. He's going to go and educate everybody that what I'm doing isn't a breach of anything. We'll consider that a win. Mint. See you later.